Welcome to this week's edition of The Gun Doctor. Legislators in Illinois saying the FOID Card system hasn't been updated since its creation over 50 years ago grabbed the opportunity to pass HB 562, which expands background checks on all gun sales in Illinois and provides mental health funding for certain communities. Governor Pritzker and those who voted for the bill in the General Assembly said they view gun violence as a public health crisis. The General Assembly, controlled by Democrat supermajorities, included $128 million in this year's state budget for violence prevention programs. In the last decade, the number of Illinoisans with a FOID card has nearly doubled from 1.2 million in 2010 to 2.2 million today. But here's what they say are the key points of the legislation. House Bill 562 expands background checks to all gun sales in Illinois starting in 2024. They say invest in community-based trauma-informed mental health programs in the communities most impacted by gun violence. It properly funds the Illinois State Police ability to enforce the surrender of firearms from people who have lost their license for gun ownership. It also requires the Illinois State Police to remove guns from people with revoked FOID cards who have not surrendered their weapon. Further, it amends how FOID card fees are distributed. $5 will go to the State Police Firearms Services Fund, and $5 will go into the State Police Revocation Enforcement Fund. Previously, $6 went to the Wildlife and Fish Fund, $1 to the State Police Services Fund, and $3 to the State Police Firearms Services Fund. The legislation creates a stolen gun database and requires Illinois State Police to continuously monitor state and federal databases for prohibited gun buyers. It also creates stronger identification factors like fingerprints, so Illinois State Police can more easily verify the identity of FOID applicants and firearm purchasers, as well as increase the frequency of background checks. They claim that fingerprints will expedite FOID and concealed carry applications and automatically renew going forward. The bill also streamlines the FOID card system by allowing Illinois State Police to create electronic records, creating a combined FOID and concealed carry license, offering cardholders the ability to apply for renewal 6 months before the expiration date, and establishing a professional appeals board. Formalizes in law preventative actions giving all Illinois law enforcement agencies access to the FOID status of any individual, ensuring state police continuously monitor federal and state databases for any new threat to safety. It also requires every Illinois law enforcement agency to submit ballistics information to national crime databases within 48 hours and making available to the public all firearms reported stolen to crack down on illegal gun trafficking. Now, there are a few things you need to know that aren't in the legislation. First, anytime a politician uses the word invest, such as invest in children, invest in education, or as this law says, invest in community-based trauma-informed mental health programs, well, invest is a code word for spending more money. Secondly, the state of Illinois has moved millions of dollars over the years from the State Police Fund that is supposed to be used to administer the FOID card system and the Conceal and Carry licensing program, so additional funding shouldn't have been necessary to address the backlog of FOID card applications. And of course, when they say gun violence, most rational thinking people know that guns don't commit violence, people do. And on the issue of violence prevention programs, which few, if any, have worked, I would simply quote the late Charles Colson, who once said, "Everyone asks what causes crime, which is the wrong question to ask. We should ask, what causes virtue?" The nearly 200 pages of legislation has a lot of moving parts. While fingerprints for FOID cards would be optional, the measure does have state police rely on the Secretary of State data for updated addresses of cardholders and does not increase the FOID fee of $10 for 10 years. For private transfers, the measure requires person-to-person transfers be subject to checks against the federal NICS database, either through the licensed firearm dealer or through an online validation process with Illinois State Police. The transferor and the transferee must maintain those records for 10 years. However, the federal firearm licensees of Illinois said their group objected to gun dealers maintaining records of firearm transfers they didn't take part in. Well, the bill takes effect January 1st, 2022, with the exception of universal background checks, which take effect January 1 of 2024. If there is any bright spot, it would be the combining of the FOID card and the conceal and carry card into one card. Another bright spot can be found at Smoke and Gun Works. Visit the area's largest selection of firearms and spend some time on their 5-star nationally rated range. Smoke and Gun Works, 8785 North Baileyville Road, Foreston, Illinois. For the Gun Doctor, I'm Tim Bivens.